The person who found Sooni first noticed her on the street. It was impossible to miss her heavy, low-hanging belly and a large, worrying swelling on her side that looked like a tumor. Strangely, everyone in the area seemed to know her. She was the quiet, older dog that often wandered around, patiently begging for food scraps. When Sooni turned and began to walk away, the person decided to follow her, having no idea where the dog might lead. After nearly 15 minutes of walking, they arrived at Sooni's home, a small, cold, makeshift hut. Inside, they found 5 newborn puppies nestled close to their mother. The place smelled terrible, filled with old bowls of rotting leftovers. The puppies were not lively. They moved slowly, clinging to their completely exhausted mother. Sooni weakly lifted her head and looked up with eyes that clearly pleaded for help. Soon after, the owner appeared. He casually mentioned that Sooni had given birth only last week to 5 puppies, 3 brown and 2 white. The biggest shock came when he added that Sooni was 17 years old. 17 and still giving birth. It seemed almost impossible. The person immediately asked if they could take Sooni and the pups to the hospital, but the owner firmly refused. He claimed the puppies were already reserved and that Sooni would not leave the only home she had ever known. For the next 3 long days, the person tried everything to convince the owner. Meanwhile, Sooni continued to suffer, her body wasting away as she struggled to feed her babies. The large swelling on her belly grew worse with every visit. At last, after days of pleading, the owner finally allowed them to leave. Sooni was too weak to even resist as she and her babies were gently carried to the veterinary hospital, the hospital. The vets quickly determined her condition was critical. Her blood test showed her anemia level was dangerously low at 11. She wouldn't survive without immediate blood transfusions. That night, she received her first transfusion at 3 in the morning and another the next morning at 8 a.m. The doctors were amazed she was still alive, but the person knew the reason. She was fighting fiercely for her puppies. Sooni was also diagnosed with heartworm. Surgery was necessary to remove the tumor, but her body was so frail that even the anesthesia presented an enormous risk. To lighten her burden, the puppies were immediately fed formula and soft foods. They seemed to understand, drinking obediently, almost as if they knew their mother needed every ounce of strength to heal. With continuous, round-the-clock care, the puppies began to thrive. They ate and slept well, and their movements became quicker and more playful. Meanwhile, Sooni was prepared for surgery. The vets retested her parameters, knowing how slim the odds were. Could a 17-year-old mother endure such a long procedure? Could she safely wake up from the anesthesia? They had to proceed and hope for a miracle. On the day of surgery, the person's heart pounded as they signed the papers. Hours later, they returned to find her alive. Against all expectations, the operation went smoothly. The bad tissue was removed and she was spayed, ensuring she would never face another difficult pregnancy. When the person visited her right after the surgery, they expected her to be too weak to move. Instead, she stood up, wagging her tail, and her eyes looked brighter than before. Her immense strength was stunning. The puppies thrived under the hospital's care. They were treated for worms, and tests confirmed they were heartworm negative. Their individual personalities began to show. The 2 white girls were curious but gentle, and the 3 brown boys were lively and strong. Even the medical staff fell in love, with some offering to adopt them. Every meal, every nap, and every playful moment was proof that they were leaving their past suffering behind. In just 3 days, Sooni recovered rapidly. Her anemia improved, her inflammation levels dropped, and her energy returned. Watching her eagerly eat homemade meals, the person realized she had likely never eaten so well in her life. She still worried about her puppies constantly, so they were placed near her room. Seeing them reassured her and gave her the power to keep fighting. Soon, the puppies moved onto solid food, growing more confident daily. Adoption inquiries came quickly, and one by one, the 3 brown boys found their forever homes. They would never again be tied up or go hungry. Their future was safe and filled with love. The 2 white girls remained with their mama a little longer, continuing to grow and shine in the care of the mother who had fought to save them all. Meanwhile, Sooni continued her incredible healing. She gained weight, moved with more energy, and greeted everyone joyfully with her whole body. The look on her face had completely changed. Where there had once been only deep fatigue and sadness, now there was peace and even happiness. Then, the time finally came for her last two puppies to say goodbye to their mother. It was a bittersweet moment. They were all adopted now, ready for their new lives, and Sooni's long suffering was over. She will live safely with the person who rescued her, loved and never alone again. It was the beautiful ending she absolutely deserved after 17 long years. If Sooni's story of strength and her fight for her puppies touched you, please share this story so more people can see the incredible spirit of a rescue dog.